Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. And at this point, please subscribe. Crawford shouldn't give Spence a rematch, man. Yeah, I said it. Don't give the man a rematch, man. Quit wasting your time, Terrence Crawford. Go on, man. Find something bigger and better to do. Because you know what? Terrence Crawford's not going to get credit for beating Earl Spence anyway. The only good thing about an Earl Spence rematch for Terrence Crawford is the money. Even fighting him at 154 is not going to mean anything, okay? Quite simple. Now, as far as Spence deserving a rematch, look, when I take the emotion out of it and I conduct myself as a human being, right? Yeah, Spence gave Crawford a chance. So that being said, you got to give Spence an opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If it wasn't for Spence, Crawford wouldn't be in the position that he's in today. Okay, that's fair. But at the same time, no matter how much of a competitor that Earl Spence shown us, right? And trying to do everything he could to ensure that he could somehow figure out a way, especially after that second round, to come out as an undisputed 147-pound champion. Let me tell you something. I just feel like this, right? As highly anticipated as that fight was with Crawford and Spence, I just don't think it carries that same high anticipation going into the rematch. And for a guy like Crawford and also Spence, you know, you want to make sure that you're moving up the ladder, not reversing. So there's different types of ladders. As far as the financial ladder, I think they're both moving up it because they're going to get paid good money for the rematch, okay? So I get that. But the ladder here that I think is even more important is the legacy ladder. Just how much further up the ladder does Crawford go if he fights Spence? And what happens to Earl Spence? Now, how far can he go? If he beats Terrence Crawford in a rematch, which I think most people feel it just won't happen anyway, right? But if he happens to pull that off, oh man, Earl Spence, he's all the way to the top of the ladder. Matter of fact, they gonna want him to fight Canelo. But if Earl Spence loses, which I think the majority feel that Earl Spence will not beat Terrence Crawford no matter what, then what happens to Earl Spence? So I just think both of them have, outside of money, they both have more to lose than to gain. Even in wins, even in losses. And that's just my perspective, man. Now, as far as the public's interest for the rematch, like I said, I just think it's going to pale in comparison to going into the first fight. And maybe the second fight will be a little bit better. But I just can't see a different outcome, okay? Now, I'll tell you this. Let's say Crawford or Spence, either one, were talking about moving to 154 and they had not fought, okay? Well, this is where I would say, hey, they need to be jumping through hoops, breaking down doors to make the fight. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I listened to Riddick Bowe the other day, and he regrets not fighting Lennox Lewis. He regrets it. The thing is, Crawford and Spence have already fought. And boxing fans and boxing experts have gone on record and said, man, if the fight is so one-sided, it shouldn't demand or dictate a rematch. And that's why a few fighters today are trying to get away from rematch clauses. Tyson Fury being one. Okay? If the fight is close, the public will demand a rematch, there'll be an interest, and we'll make it happen. But if not, it doesn't make sense. So now we're looking at a situation like Crawford and Spence where there was a rematch clause, and you could understand a lot was on the line. But now you're going into a rematch, and none of that shit is on the line anymore. It's nothing on the line. Look at everything that was on the line. Crawford and Spence going into that first fight. Nothing's on the line now. Maybe a little bit of money. And to get Earl Spence to maybe look good in his fans' eyes again. But as far as for Terence Crawford, this is aside for the money, it's a lose-lose for Terence Crawford. It's a lose-lose. So he said, okay, well, you don't think Crawford should give him a rematch, right? Now, I understand, hey, you hooked me up, I'm going to hook you up. Fair is fair, right? But at the same time, I also feel like, man, you hurting yourself, Crawford, man. Go on out there, drop that damn WBC belt, drop the WBA belt, because they're going to strip Crawford anyway, I think. Right? You can say, hold your horses, you're taking it to the stupid. No, I think they're going to strip Crawford. But drop them belts. Quit leaving people in suspense. They've been doing Crawford dirty for a long time, man. IBF gave him the business. I mean, come on now. So Crawford dropped them belts. Hold on to that WBO and go after Zoo. Take a little, stay busy fight. I know there's the contract there and he can't necessarily get out that contractual obligation unless Spence agrees and lawyers get involved. Probably have to be some money going in there, rubbing palms. You know how that is. Secret society wants their dough. But that's what I like, trying to figure out a way to get out of it. Talk to Spence, because Spence has, if you watch Spence he's not thinking about training. So that sends a horrible message to me right there. Crawford is all about the business. Get out of that and go on out there, man, and chase something, a big fight at 154. You know? But to be honest with you, man, Crawford doesn't really have many options at this point in time. And you know what's the sad thing? The biggest fight for Crawford, as far as from the fans, it's not that Earl Spence rematch. It's not Jamel Charlo. It's not Tim Tszyu. It's not even Canelo. The biggest fight from the fans is Crawford versus who? It's Boots Ennis. That is the fight. And I'm going to tell you right now, man, Crawford versus Boots, I think that fight's going to be a lot better, or it would be a lot better than Crawford versus Spence. I'll tell you that right now. I think Crawford and Spence pales in comparison to what Crawford and Boots would end up being. I'm just telling you, performance-wise in the ring. There's something about those two styles. You know, they got a saying, only a ninja can kill a ninja. You listen to a lot of dancehall music. Back in the day, they had Ninja Man. They called himself Ninja Man because he's saying there's no other Ninja Man and only a ninja can kill a ninja. So when he would get up there and clash, you know, basically say no one stood a chance. And with Crawford, I think he's like Ninja Man. Only a ninja can kill a ninja. And the closest thing to a ninja is that damn Boots Ennis. Everything Crawford can do, Boots Ennis can do. You just have one more experienced. Doesn't necessarily mean Crawford will win. He should be favored. But what I'm telling you is, this would be a case of a ninja fighting another ninja. And only a ninja can kill a ninja. And that's why I feel that many fans believe that that's the better match to make. And some believe that, you know, Boots Ennis will be the better man. Younger. I mean, you know, as far as strength, I don't know. You know, Crawford is, you know, cock strong. Crawford is just a strong guy. But Boots Ennis is strong. They both hit hard. They can switch hit. They can counter punch. They got good footwork. I think Boots is probably a bit more flashy, but that's just because he's young. He want to get out there and, you know, do all the stuff that catches the eye. Doesn't necessarily mean, you know, you're gonna land shots. It's like in basketball, all that fancy dribbling behind the back, spinning the ball, doing a cartwheel. That shit don't mean you're gonna put the ball in the bucket. You know what I mean? You put 2 points on the board, 3 points on the board. You ain't gonna get you an and one, but you're gonna entertain the crowd. But you still lose the game. Okay. But that being said, man, let's see, because I think if Crawford's goal was to be the GOAT at 147, I think he's. I don't think he's done that. But Crawford's getting into a situation like Mayweather where if you want to be the greatest of all time, you keep beating people and beating people and beating people, champion after champion. They just keep putting somebody else in front of you. Now, I'm not at all saying Crawford has performed like Mayweather as far as champion after champion after champion. It's not what I'm saying. They're not the same in that sense, but they're the same in the sense where Crawford is like, okay, You put Boots in there and I beat him. Then you'll say fight Thurman. You put Thurman, then you'll say fight Santillan. Santillan, then you'll say fight Rocha. Then after Rocha, whoever's the next up and coming, you'll say fight him. You know what I mean? I think Crawford's kind of, at that point where he's almost his own worst enemy. Because if you line him up, obviously, Crawford's going to knock him down. And Earl Spence was supposed to be the big dog at 147. But I tell you what, you better believe Earl Spence is chalking up his loss to an off night. Terrence Crawford's chalking up his win to years of preparing for Earl Spence, years of planning for Earl Spence, and getting in the ring and making sure that he didn't have an off night, that he had an on night. And Terrence Crawford was on. The first second of the first round to the last second when that referee finally waved that fight off. And I tell you what, going into the rematch, Terrence Crawford's going to be on. And going into any other fight within a reasonable weight limit, Terrence Crawford's going to be on. And I think Terrence Crawford should be favored to win any fight he gets in. Now, once you start getting up, I would say above, 160 plus, but then, it gets a little interesting. But that being said, at this point, for Crawford to really stay active, man, maybe he shouldn't give Spence that rematch, especially if Spence isn't genuinely interested, meaning he's there in the gym and going all out and making sure that he's doing the preparing, he's doing the planning for a rematch. Because I'm going to tell you what, Derrick James is too busy. He's too busy. That's a whole nother video. The video was Derrick James too busy to put together a sound game plan for Earl Spence. That's a whole nother conversation. I think I did a video on that, but now when we take a look at what's going on, is he just too busy? He's over there in the UK, he got AJ, he got Ryan Garcia, he got Charlo, he got Frank Martin, he got Spence. Before he was just him and Spence. Then he picked up Charlo. He had all the time in the world. He was able to go there and make him a little fried fish sandwich with hot sauce. Drink a little bit of lemonade. Now my man, he can't even go in there and get a nacho fry through the Taco Bell drive-thru. You know what I'm saying? Nah, that takes too long. Anyway, man, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. Earl Spence didn't consider activating his rematch clause. He activated that rematch clause. And once he activated it, that locked Terrence Crawford into it. Terrence Crawford was trapped. He trapped him. Trapped him. All Kelly in the closet. Trapped. And he can't get out. It is what it is. In the breeze.